All right, what's up, guys? Today we have Jeff from Owners Club. He's from up in Colorado, and I got to meet him a couple times. I just wanted to highlight today his Everest, what is he's working on, his 3 5 year goal. Um, and Jeff, just before we started recording, you're telling me you were doing co-living, but you're making a shift. You're making a change, a pivot.
Yep.
So what would you say inspired it? And then what is the new pivot officially?
So there were two things. Okay. So we were at Boston at the retreat, and he had the three people go up. He had him and Jill and somebody else. And he was on the far right aisle, and then he had Jill go up the far left, and he had somebody else go up the middle aisle. And he was talking about progress on our Everest goals, right? And so all three of them went halfway up. And he says, "So why would I go all the way back to the beginning, start at the very beginning, and follow up somebody else's path to we could all meet at the end, and I could use their expertise and experience, and
Mm,
uh, and make a bigger impact, right?" And so there was that, and then James Parche, also in Owners Club, said, "Dude, you have 20 years of experience in financial accounting systems. You implement accounting software for small and medium-sized businesses now. Why would you start over with anything other than something focused on, doing financial systems and accounting software for the real estate investor? Because accounting software, real estate investing, all the things that people need for accounting for real estate investing." And so he just started me thinking, and that's where it kind of ended up.
yeah. I'm kind of curious. I definitely don't have an accounting background, but my background's finance. Um, it's like it touches on it, not nowhere near as in depth as you. But I'm curious, what are you seeing in the current environment with AI? Are you seeing it influence your, the software and everything a lot or a little or
So it's not influencing it as much as you would think right now, but it's certainly headed that direction. And that's one of the things that I'm dead set on exploring, is how to automate all the bookkeeping using AI.
yeah,
So if you think about all the transactions that come in from your real estate portfolio, probably 80 to 90% of them could be 100% could be automated. And then there's only like 10 to 15, maybe even 20% at the most that's going to need some sort of human intervention, right? And so I do think AI is really going to be a huge impact on the bookkeeping side of things for especially real estate investors, but maybe as a whole for small businesses.
yeah, yeah. I'll send you if you want. There's this newsletter I follow. It's free. It's once a day, but it tracks the latest developments in AI.
Is that the
So,
TLDR?
um, this one's called Superhuman,
Okay.
and it
I
like
have one
I
that I get that's called TLDR. Too long didn't read, but it talks about
yeah.
AI as well. But yeah, I'll check out the Superhuman. Send it over.
Yeah, I literally look forward to it because of the stuff every day. It's something I'm like, and I remember something you said provoked that connection, but it was something I read in the past couple of days where it's AI is definitely merging into a lot of. Oh, I think I was reading earlier, Amazon just pumped billions into AI related, like their web services.
Hmm.
It's not quite accounting, but it's like you could see how it's going to merge.
For sure.
So, all right, pretend someone is watching this in a couple days from Owners Club. What would, how would you describe you could you could help someone in Owners Club, for example? Like what kind of service or help do you see a lot of people need that you have that skill set?
So right off the bat, I know that probably 80 to 90% of people that are doing small business use QuickBooks Online.
Mm,
And the biggest thing that I know about QuickBooks Online is that there are limitations from a reporting standpoint.
mm,
And the biggest thing is getting P&L statements by each property, getting P&L statements by each flip that you do, getting P&L statements by your entire portfolio, being able to slice and dice that information, it's just not that easy to do out of QuickBooks.
Yeah. You could see like
And
this time of year how important that is for taxes. Like you gotta, your numbers gotta be spot on to know if you should buy something in December or not.
well, that's the first thing everybody runs to is taxes. But if you could get those exact same reports on a monthly basis or even real time
Hmm.
for your business, you can start making real time decisions about what's profitable, what's not.
Mm.
And
What
you would
it,
be so much more in control of your portfolio of, whatever you're doing, your flips, your wholesale business. If you knew tomorrow all the business that happened this week, right?
yeah,
And you had a real-time financial reporting view into what you were doing. I mean, you can just see where that kind of real-time reporting would make a huge difference in running your business.
yeah, yeah. It makes me think of like, and are you familiar with project management? Like they talk about agile, you
That's
know,
right. Yep.
like very short iterations and pivoting very quickly.
And
So it sounds like you could help.
that'd be
Yeah,
my goal is to do small changes for these small businesses and in specifically real estate investors where they don't have to bite off a whole chunk. For instance, right now when I do an accounting software implementation for a medium-sized company, right? Um, we may be charging them $250,000, $300,000 for that accounting software implementation, and it may take 6 months, 7 months to do that. My consultants that work on my team, they're billing out, $300 an hour, right? And so these are not small projects that happen. And so um, we're talking about the same software that I would move people to and figure out some way to do it very economically. And the way that I would do that is kind of curate a version for the real estate and buy and hold real estate investors. And it would have a predetermined chart of accounts. It would have one um, financial dimension that they could tag all their transactions to, which initially would be property. And then maybe there would be a second dimension that we could eventually roll out for these same people that have multiple product lines. Maybe they have single family, maybe they have multifamily, maybe they have a flip business, maybe they have wholesale, and those would be those would be lines of business. And so there might be a second dimension that they would want to track um,
yeah,
their
yeah.
transactions
Because
by.
especially, I don't know, I haven't looked into the timeline or how official it is, but I could see how important it is for businesses to know their numbers real time when you have things in the news like 100% depreciation potentially.
For sure.
Like you should really, really know what's going on so you could pivot accordingly. But especially if it was the opposite, like if it was, the other direction, would be probably even more vital.
That's right.
Awesome. But yeah, I could see too how starting, if you know what these massive companies are paying to move into, I could see how beneficial it is for someone in an owners club to just start in it.
That's right. And beginning of the month or beginning of the year, beginning of the quarters, those are great times to make transitions to a new system.
Yeah,
And so just thinking through what it would take to do something like this for a company and for a small business
yeah,
of that sort. So
nice. So if people want to learn more about maybe a more granular understanding of what that means, what that entails, what's the best way to like learn or look you up? Like LinkedIn, a website, YouTube.
my Instagram is at JFPTRSN. So it's my name, Jeff Peterson, no vowels.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and then I guess at least at this stage, are you doing more like consulting or is it a package or how would you describe like what you're offering currently?
So the very first thing that we're going to do is do a 2-day boot camp. And the 2-day boot camp is going to focus on small business tech stack. So what are you using now? What are your pain points? What would it take to transition to a dimensional accounting system from QuickBooks Online? What would a chart of accounts look like? What would your bookkeeping look like afterwards? What kind of automation tools can I enlist? all those types of things. How can I get closer to real time reporting is really what that 2 day workshop's going to focus on.
Okay. And then what do you have a name for this? Do you have an official what you want to call it?
I don't have a new name yet for it, so I think it's financial reporting for the small business owner, but I think there's got to be a better name for that. So it's going to be small time tech stack, maybe. I don't know, something like something along those lines. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm curious because I do need to get clean up a lot of that on my side. So that's why I'm also asking these questions.
Every small business owner I talk to says, "Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's a pain in my butt.
it's
How can I do better with less?"
yeah. No, it's hard to balance both because I have the background, so I know what it needs, at least the framework, what it looks like. But at the
That's
same
right.
time, if I spend too much time on it, it takes mental bandwidth from the revenue
That's right.
generating activity. So it's like a catch 22.
So let me ask you this question: if you were able to review your transactions and you only had to look at the exceptions, that you knew 80% of them were already solidly coded, and you only had to look at the exceptions, and if you did that on a daily or weekly basis, how much better off would your reporting be?
No, it'd be substantially better. Yeah,
So that's the goal. That's the
yeah,
goal, is how do I break it up into small enough chunks and make it more palatable for you to review stuff? And how do we get a system that's doing it for you for the most part? And then all you're
yeah,
going in and doing is adjusting a few things here and there.
yeah. I guess last question then, when is your first, what's the projected date on this first workshop? Are you thinking before Squad Up or after?
I think it might be before Squad Up. I think it might be.
Nice.
So
Yeah, like February-ish, late
yeah,
February,
yeah, right when
early
everybody gets
March.
through at their year end and has the most pain in mind, they
Yeah,
understood how much pain they went through at year end.
yeah. Because it's like you want to time it where it's applicable, but it's early enough that they still need it,
That's right.
right? It's still hot on the mind.
That's right.
Awesome. Appreciate you coming in today, Jeff. And then can you repeat again what is the best way to reach out to you? Like
Yeah,
contact
it's
info?
my Instagram at Jeff Peterson, JFPTRSN.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Well, you hear that, guys. Definitely reach out to him, especially if you're looking to scale the portfolio. So